Elise, these past 23 weeks have been some of the happiest moments of my life, and I just feel like I don't know how I could live my life without you and the show in it. And so I just have one thing to say to you, one thing to ask. Will you welcome me to the OC, bitch?
What you say?
I told you that it's time to start the show.
That you only meant well.
Yeah, the show's gonna do well.
Of course you did. What you say?
I said let's go.
That it's all for the best.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like the best podcast.
What you say?
God, do I have to keep repeating myself?
Just what we need. You decided this.
Hold up, I
What
thought we
you
both
say?
decided to do this.
What did she say?
I said let's start the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to Whatcha Say, an OC podcast. My name is Lise Daly.
And I'm Scott Daly.
Together,
We're the Dailies. Yes, this is the podcast where each and every week we get down on one knee and watch the hit 2000s teen drama, The OC. This week we watched Season 1, Episode 24, The Proposal.
But before we get into that episode and talk about other people's lives, we want to talk about our lives. It's the favorite part of the show. It's time for the Rosies and Thornies.
Every rose has its thorn.
Has its thorn.
Just like every night has its dawn.
Dawn, dawn, dawn.
Every cowboy sings a sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Yeah. Jesus.
Where Scott and I look back on the week and we talk about the good, the bad, the roses, the thorns. And we're going to start with the bad like always. So Scott, what was your thorn this past week?
My thorn this past week was this past week.
Mm-hmm.
It was a long as hell week. It was one of those weeks where I was super busy at work. Some crazy shit happened at work this past week that I had no control over, and it made it a very busy week. And it was already a super busy week for me. It's the last week of the month. It's always like busy on all fronts. We're running 4 podcasts at the same time right now, and we had our book club on Friday, so I had to deal with that. And I just remember last 2 Fridays ago making this very, very long list of all the stuff I needed to do. But I did it. I got through it.
Good. Way to go.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Thank
That was
you.
a lot you had to do.
It was a lot, at least on my list. It was a whole lot of stuff.
I'm a big fan of lists and things you can check off. So I was really proud of you for making a list.
What was your thorn this past week?
Scott, everyone was always saying these funny things about January and how January was 76 days long. And it felt long. And
did,
this
didn't
past
it?
week, it wasn't just your hell week. It was
Your hell
a
month.
full week of January still. Monday through Friday. Had it been Monday through Wednesday, I think I could have just mentally gotten through it. But good night. I'm so glad January is over with, and I hope February flies by.
I think it will.
I sure do hope it will.
We've got plans just about every weekend in February, so I think it's going to be a good one.
What are we doing this weekend?
It's the Oscars, baby.
Oh, yeah, it is.
The Academy
Okay,
Awards.
it's true.
Be prepared for my rose and or thorn next week.
It's true. Okay, what was your rose, Scott?
My rose is a television show called The Good Place. I'm not going to spoil it on here because that would be bad, but The Good Place was a show that ran for 4 seasons and ended last week. And so in and amongst my very, very little bit of free time last week, I did manage to watch the final season of The Good Place. I think it was Friday night after I finished the book club. I stayed up a little later just so I could finish watching that show. And oh my God, the finale of that show was one of the best finales I've ever seen. Like, I think it just stuck the landing in this amazing way. It was an incredibly unique show, nothing quite like it ever, and it ended in just the perfect way. And I don't want to go into too many details because I don't want to spoil it. It's about getting better. It's about being good. It's about finding a way to become a better person, and how people do that, and how people do that together, and how people can help each other do that. I don't know. It's just...
Sounds good.
It was just a beautiful show, and I loved it so much.
good.
And everyone should watch it. I think the first 3 seasons are on Netflix. I'm assuming the 4th one will be on there very shortly now that it's done. But it's a good place. Loved
Another
it.
good thing to watch on Netflix.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Elise, what is your rose?
So this past, 5 weeks now, we've been going to puppy school on Saturdays. And when Penny has distractions, Penny's a failure at all things in life. But this past weekend, we had puppy school, our regular time, and we were the only ones there. And I mean, Penny made us look like we had been practicing with her and she was doing a good job. And the only thing that was making her bad was all of these distractions that she'd had. And so it was really good.
She did so good.
She did so good. She made us look so good. I was really proud of her.
Learned it down. And
Yeah, she's still working on it.
She does it without treats now, baby. She's got it.
She wouldn't do it today when I had a treat.
Oh, well, she did it for me. So.
Did you do it today?
Yeah.
With no treat?
Yeah.
Scott.
I did it. Why would I lie? Why would I lie about that? I did it. I did it. We succeeded. I'm sorry that she loved me more than you. I'm sorry about that.
I don't think that's what it means, but whatever makes you feel better at night.
Yeah. Our final exam this Saturday. You nervous? You nervous? Well, she doesn't pass.
It's fine.
But they have to hold her back. She has to repeat puppy training school.
They'll just charge us more money and
That's
it'll
true.
be fine.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is our week. It was a pretty good one, all things considered.
It was. It was a pretty
Let's
good
move
one.
in to the week of some rich people that live in California.
Yeah.
And talk about the OC.
So episode 24, The Proposal, was written by Liz Friedman. Friedman? But it's fried. It's a compound word. Fried man. Liz Friedman.
Okay.
And Josh Schwartz. And it was directed by Helen Shaver. This is Helen's first and only directorial effort on the OC. It's also the first woman that has directed a show. Only one of 3 episodes directed by women on the entire show.
Yep.
The OC.
Yup.
It originally aired April 14th, 2004.
All right. The summary. Jimmy and Sandy run into a roadblock into their efforts to reopen the Balboa Lighthouse restaurant when some investors withdraw their funds, and it's revealed that they were Jimmy's former business clients whom he lost all of their money. That is...
Investors didn't withdraw funds.
Entirely false summary. That is not what happened at all. Meanwhile, Summer and Seth take it upon themselves to finally make Marissa feel more home in Jimmy's apartment. Things take another win-win. Caleb makes a marriage proposal to Julie, which sparks anger and a feeling of betrayal for Luke, who gets behind the wheel of his car and has a near-fatal accident.
Can I just touch on that? The when, it is the when. They repeated the same word twice. I didn't want people to think it was a win-when or a when-win. It was a really bad error.
Thank you for clarifying that. It's very important.
It's important to clarify these things, yes.
Also, Marissa and Sandy and Jimmy each strike deals with Caleb, in which he forces Marissa to live with him and Julie after they are married, in exchange for helping Jimmy and Sandy with their business adventure. Not venture. Adventure.
No, the eeks each. That was just Scott's
just
own
me.
flair.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Just wanted to give you credit where credit was due.
What did you think of this episode? What did you think of the proposal?
Any episode that highlights the Summer Seth dynamic, I love, and this just takes it to a great level. I mean, it's just restating, yes. Again, stating I hate Ryan and Marissa, and so this episode, spoke to that whole Ryan and Marissa relationship again, which is just frustrating.
Yeah.
Other than that, I didn't hate it. It wasn't my favorite episode ever. It's not like Christmaka, but it's good.
Cool.
Yep.
I liked it a whole lot. I liked it way better than last week's episode.
Did you like it way better than Christmaka?
Yeah. I think this is one of the best episodes of the season. I really do. There's a lot of good stuff.
Better than
this
Christmaka.
felt I'm gonna get hipster on you and be like, this felt like vintage OC. This felt like early first part of first season OC.
I mean, this is the first season.
Yeah, but it's 24 episodes in. We're freaking 2 seasons of normal TV in 2020's worth of time away from this.
Early first season, the OC, there was no Seth and Summer. And now there's Seth and Summer.
True, but I'm thinking the episode where they all went down to TJ and they got stuck in the hotel. That's like vintage, like the four of them together. It's just good.
I love how you think it's vintage and it's
vintage,
like, what,
baby.
10 episodes ago?
No, I really like this episode. I really liked every single one of the plot lines. I agree with you with the Ryan and Marissa stuff doesn't normally work for me. It worked for me here because the target, like, it wasn't about their relationship. They got back together during this episode, but it was almost kind of like tangential to everything else which is going on, which was really more interesting to me. The Luke stuff was great. The proposal stuff was great. The Coens dealing with the restaurant was great. I actually was into Haley and Jimmy's like secret thing that they're doing a really terrible job of hiding. So I don't know. Liked it all around. I was so bummed after last week. And I don't think it was a very good episode of the podcast because I was so like, I just did not like that episode. And yet here, I liked it. I liked it a whole lot.
Well, good. I'm glad that you liked it.
Uh-huh. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, let's tell everyone what you liked.
All right. We open with a crying Marissa. What else is new, you know? Mm-hmm. Marissa crying. But we quickly realize that they're in a movie theater watching a romantic comedy movie. I was curious about what this movie was, so I looked it up. It's not real. Actually, the credits that were going by on the movie when you see it were just people in the cast or in the crew of this show. So it was just like a shout out to some crew members that they had. So it's nothing. They're not watching any specific movie. The other thing I noticed is that the theater is almost empty. I presume just because they can't afford to buy extras.
Yeah.
And to pay all the extras. So there's like 6 people in the theater along with the 4 of them.
Well, you know. I was looking at this Moulin Rouge that came out in 2001. That mean like the Paris scenery was behind. And I know it wasn't Moulin Rouge, but I felt like
it was not Moulin Rouge.
It was a very timely movie that maybe they were trying to make it seem like, but they couldn't get the like rights to it, so they just did what they could.
Well, Seth is crying too.
Yeah, everyone's crying except for Ryan because Ryan doesn't have a heart.
It's true.
And yeah.
But Seth is
He's
crying.
the Tin Man.
And he feels emasculated because of this. He doesn't feel like a man because he's crying in a movie, which...
He should just go to movies with you.
Yeah. Come on. Let's just go see Rocky again.
Creed.
Seth. Stop it. It's important to note that none of that feeling is coming from Summer, I don't think. It's Marissa that's teasing him a little bit for it. It's not Summer. In fact, we see Summer just kind of like gingerly wipe some of the tears from his face because Summer is the fucking best. The best.
We should keep a tally on how many times you say that throughout each
50
episode.
an episode as long as it remains true.
Okay. So after the movie, they decide they're going to go get some froyo because, California. But, oh no, guess who is also going to get some? It's Luke and Julie. Bloop, bloop.
Going to get some?
Yeah, I did.
What's up with that hat Julie's wearing?
It's a bucket hat used in order to shield yourself from view.
Okay, I think if you're going outside and the garment you're wearing is...
What's up with you and fashion in this show, Scott? I mean, like, I never knew you to be so, like, tuned into fashion.
Everyone keeps wearing bad shit, babe, and it's my job to tell them that.
Is it really that bad? It's stylish.
Hey, if the thing you're putting on your head is called a bucket, it's not fashionable. Boom.
Zoot suits.
What?
Zoot suits. Were they fashionable?
Yeah.
Are they
what is
nice?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying, like some things don't look good and people still wore them. And because it was timely and stylish.
Are you agreeing with me that it doesn't look good? The bucket hat?
I'm saying I wouldn't wear it now, but that doesn't mean it was appropriate
would you have worn
for
it
then.
In 2004?
Yeah.
Well, you would have been wrong then too.
No, I wouldn't have been. I would have been right. And you would have been.
My taste is timeless. Stop following the herd, Elise. Just because people tell you to put a bucket on your head and call it fashion doesn't mean you should.
You know what? I'm a trendsetter, and most of the time I buy these things before the majority of the people do, and I wear them.
I don't believe that. What trends have you set?
Scott.
What?
I have a very good answer to this question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, in college.
Okay.
I think it was my junior or senior year.
Uh-huh.
I was painting my nails, and all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I don't want to paint one nail the same color as all the other nails. I'm going to have an accent nail. And that was right before the big, huge trend blew up. And I know I didn't start it like from the very get-go because I'm just in Waco, Texas. but still.
Wow, babe.
Yeah. And then sometimes I wouldn't just paint like one a different color. I'd do my accent nail half and half.
No.
Yeah.
Shit. The world will never
Yeah.
be the same.
And then all my friends were like, whoa, Elise, that's real
I
cool.
don't think
And
they
then
did.
they did it too. Accent nails.
So
Started
anyway,
by yours truly.
Luke and Julie are talking, and Luke is just trying to talk to Julie for some reason. She's like, why are you doing here? Like, I'm ignoring your phone calls and your emails. I blocked you from my buddy list.
Hello, AIM. You have mail.
So this is a very 2004 thing. And it's so good. You blocked me? I just thought you were offline. So this means as part of their illicit affair, Julie and Luke were on AIM and instant messaging each other on AIM.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious.
Why?
Because, like, just imagine.
I mean, that's where people
Imagine-
meet. It
yeah,
was
but-
like before we had our apps. People met in chat rooms.
Why are Luke and Julie meeting in a chat room?
Why not?
Because they know each other in real life.
Trying to find a place where they can talk without being seen.
They have just cell phones.
Texting was a lot more expensive back then.
Work. They're rich.
Scott, Luke doesn't have his own money. And even at that, if he goes over his texting limit and his mom and dad see who he's been texting, that's no good.
So instead, there's just a giant log of every single AIM chat he's had with Julie Cooper.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair.
California, 'cause Marissa sees them.
You're so bad at reading.
What?
You just skipped a line and tried to make up for it.
It's okay. So then we go back and Seth is walking in on Ryan changing, which makes Seth like super uncomfortable because he's cried in a movie and now he's walking in on Ryan changing and he's never done that before. And Ryan has pants on and I don't know why he's making it such a big deal, but he's choosing to make it a very big deal.
Yeah, like he's just putting a shirt on. They've been in a swimming pool
I know.
together. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's so weird. Like, I know what they're doing, this whole, oh, Seth isn't a man thing, which is just very early 2000s. This, like, this, I guess it's part of, like, it's kind of a little bit gay panic here, where it's like, oh, he's not seen as a manly man. What could that mean? Bullshit. But it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The thing I like about the show is that it doesn't, like, it's okay with that at the end. Like, Seth doesn't feel like he needs, by the end of the thing, Seth and Summer each did their own part on building up of the bedroom, and everyone's happy with each part. Summer did all this work. He painted a beautiful picture. It's great. Anyway,
He's just spoiled.
babe,
What? These people don't watch the show. You legitimately spoiled it because they didn't know.
if they're listening to an OC recap podcast and are gonna get mad about spoiling something that happens later in the episode that we're talking about already, that's on them. That is on them.
I think it's on you
No.
for spoiling it. It's true.
So Seth is continuing to try to want to be manly and wants to go watch a hockey game, and
I just want Seth to be who he is
Ryan
because
says
that's who
that-
I love.
so at the beginning of the show, he said to Summer, I want to watch football, and she said football season's 5 months away. And then he says to Ryan, I want to watch hockey, and Ryan says hockey season's over, and that doesn't line up. Because if football season's 5 months away, then hockey season is definitely going on. So looks like Ryan doesn't know shit about sports either.
Or Summer doesn't. One of the two.
Now, Summer definitely knows when football season starts. Come on. Come on.
I don't know when football season starts. August?
September.
September?
Yeah.
High school
Which means
football.
it's about April, which makes sense.
Okay.
I mean, if it's high school, it depends on when your high school starts. College starts in August. High school starts in about August. NFL starts in very end of August, beginning of September.
Well,
And hockey is done in June. So,
yeah.
bunch of liars on this show. Bunch of liars.
So Luke shows up and Ryan is pretty much ready to beat him, to a pulp. But it's so sad because, Luke didn't like Ryan, and then Luke and Ryan bonded over the fact of how awful Oliver was. And then they had this legitimate friendship going on, I felt
Yeah,
like.
they did.
And it was a great bromance. And now all of a sudden, when you mess up and that makes it a perfect opportunity for you to be there for your friend, you decide you're going to completely just kick him aside and choose the girl who you're not even dating and like stop trying to protect her sort of thing. And it's just frustrating. I hate Ryan.
Whoa.
Ryan really frustrates me.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Luke did was legitimately terrible, and it's okay for people to be mad at him, but I feel like they're being, like, overly dickish. Like, the line he says to him is like, yeah, well, you don't have any friends right now.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is the moment where you need a friend. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to be buddy-buddy with him. You can still, like, say, hey, what you're doing is fucked up, and be mad at him for it. But, like, don't blow him off. And I think Luke makes a great point where he says, I had your back with the Oliver stuff. And he did. And I mean, Ryan kind of tries to help Luke throughout the rest of this episode, like by trying to convince Marissa to go see him.
But it's never because he wants to help Luke. It's because he wants that for Marissa, which is really sad.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's stupid. It's dumb. I don't like it.
Yeah. So it's because Luke is trying to talk to Marissa about the fact that he's going to be leaving town. So his dad, the divorce is settled, and everything that went down with what happened with his dad and the community in the OC, his dad just decided that what would be best is for him to move. So he's going to move up to Portland. And with everything that Luke went through, Luke's pretty much decided the way that I can get through this is to leave too. So Luke is really just trying to more or less make amends with everybody that he hurt and tell them, I feel like he's trying to tell them that he's sorry, but that I'm moving and I wanted to let you know before I left. You know, and even with Julie, like, even if he was going to go up to her and say, hey, I love you and I wanted to be with you, but I'm moving to Portland, like, at least let him say those things so that he can work through what he needs to whenever he leaves.
Well, sure, but he's going about it the entirely wrong way. Like, if you call up Marissa or leave her a text message or an email or a letter or anything and say, hey, I'm leaving town tomorrow. I'm going. I'm gone. Before I go, I just want to talk to you one last time. Instead of just like saying, no, I got to be the one to tell her myself. I have to tell her face to face. Like, you like trying to broach the subject without telling her the reason for why you're so obsessed with getting to talk to her again is not going to work.
But Marissa probably would have been like, good riddance. I'm glad you're gone. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Well, maybe,
anyways.
but it's her prerogative whether she wants to talk to this guy or not. At least be upfront about why you want to talk, and then maybe you'll have an actual shot instead of just being mysterious and a pain in the ass.
Anyways, I hate Marissa. I love Luke. I'm sad that Luke is moving to Portland.
Back in the world of adults, Sandy and Jimmy's restaurant, The Lighthouse, is opening. Tonight is the Friends and Family event, and then their soft opening begins tomorrow. And Jimmy shows up in the morning at the Coens household, and he walks up to Sandy, and they do a little handshakey thingy because they have a secret businessman handshake.
And you love it.
They're best friends.
You
I love
love
it. I do
it.
love it. I do love it.
Kirsten does not know what to think about it, and I just completely side with Kirsten. It's too weird. But whatever. So Sandy is trying to be prepared for the worst because that's what the Coens do. And it turns out that he actually had, like some intuition because all of a sudden their liquor license was revoked.
Yeah.
And how are you going to make money in the OC when you have a restaurant and no liquor license?
Everybody drinks in this town.
Yep.
Everybody.
Yep.
So problem.
Yeah. So
then Haley shows up. She's been hired as a waitress at their restaurant because of course, like that. Obviously, that makes the most sense. And she's there in her waitress dress, which is like this is sexy dress she's wearing. And Jimmy is like drooling all over her. And then the Coens leave the room temporarily. And then they just start making out in the middle of the kitchen. And like,
I'm sure they have cameras in their house.
And like Kirsten walks back in and she doesn't see him yet, but like Jimmy's acting so fucking awkward that there's this confused look on Kirsten's face immediately. They're like so bad at hiding this secret. It's been like probably like 3 hours since the establishment of this is a secret, and they're so bad at it.
Yeah. But Jimmy's not really good at keeping much a secret. We have learned.
That's true.
Yeah. And Haley's just a destruction force, just all her own. We have also learned. So the two together, it's just a combination for an explosion, really.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So how long do you think that's going to take?
3 weeks or less.
Okay. So by the end of season 1.
Yes.
Okay. So Summer and Marissa are hanging out because they're trying to show people what friendship can look like in the OC. And they're trying to keep Marissa distracted from remembering that her mom and her ex-boyfriend hooked up. And that's when Summer finds Marissa's bedroom at her dad's apartment.
Yeah, she has a bedroom? It's been 24 episodes. We've never seen a bedroom before.
Well, she didn't have that even in episode 1.
Okay, that's quibbling. Thank you. It's very necessary to correct me on that.
You're welcome. I think it's really important. Yeah. So, I mean, sleeping on the couch, sleeping at Teresa's, sleeping at Summer's, maybe sleeping at Ryan's. She's just been bouncing.
Yeah, there's no bed in the bedroom. It's filled with junk and boxes.
Yeah.
It's completely disheveled
Sharing a
and
bed
destroyed.
with her dad?
No, she's sleeping on the couch probably. That has to be it.
Ugh.
I thought she was sleeping on the... Like, I think we've seen her sleep on the couch before. I just assumed it was because it was a 1-bedroom apartment. But it's apparently a 2-bedroom apartment, and she's just never actually lived in the bedroom before.
Yeah. It's kind of sad.
Yeah. So next we move to Ryan and Marissa hanging out on the pier again. It's beautiful. Ryan is trying, unsuccessfully, to convince Marissa to give Luke a shot. Just hear him out. Doesn't tell her why, because he was told not to, but he's trying. And then some sexy music starts playing, and Ryan looks at Marissa, and he goes, "You know we haven't done in a while."
And Elise yells, "Make out."
And then they start making out. So, guess they're back together now.
They're makeout buddies again.
Hooray!
Yay! Everyone loves a good makeout buddy,
Yeah,
right?
I
Yep.
do. I love a good makeout buddy. You want to be my makeout buddy?
I mean, I'm married to you. It's required.
Wow, that's like the least excited about that you've ever sounded in your entire life.
Yes, I would love to. That sounds
Okay,
so nice.
Great. Back at
Thanks for
Summer.
asking.
Summer is still at Marissa's, and she's invited Seth over because she's decided that they're going to fix up this room. They're going to surprise Marissa and make her feel better by having a nice new bedroom to call her own, because Summer is the fucking best.
Yeah. Not only is she the best girlfriend, she's the best friend.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Everybody wants to
Hey.
have Summer around.
Remember in the old early vintage days of the show where Summer was a shallow, kind of bitchy, terrible person? What a change. What a change.
You know, I saw something on one of my like tabloidy things that in reflecting back, Rachel Bilson was remembering how all the times they wanted her in like bathing suits or really low cut tops, or like she was in a scene with her shirt off. And she really hadn't thought about it. And then she realized, you know what? That really wasn't appropriate, and they shouldn't have done that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've stopped that, though.
They have. Now
Relatively.
that they've kind of given her a little bit more of
A personality.
A personality.
Yeah, she's a human now.
Yeah.
But yeah, those first few episodes are pretty bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's really great, right?
Yeah.
I mean that's so cool. Like I love this plot line. It's a B plot of the episode, but I really like it.
Yeah. So while Summer and Seth are fixing up Marissa's room, we still have Sandy and Jimmy who are fixing up the lighthouse. And the inspector is meeting with Sandy to inform him that the new commissioner of the liquor board just so happened to be one of the old clients of Jimmy Cooper's, who Jimmy lost a lot of the money. And because commissioners hold grudges and can just go back and be really awful about those deals, just decided, you know what, I'm not going to give him the ability to try and rebuild his life again.
Can they do that?
I don't think that they can.
Isn't that corruption?
Yes.
That feels like corruption.
Yeah.
It feels like if you're the commissioner of a liquor board and it is your job to give licenses out to businesses in the community, not giving a license because you don't like the person, it doesn't seem like that should be a thing that you're allowed to do.
And you also feel like Sandy, who is a practicing lawyer,
Yeah,
who after
I'm gonna
actually
sue
hearing
you.
it from that person
Yeah.
that works for him, wouldn't just be like, oh, okay, and then try and screw his friend over, but really just try and screw the commissioner over.
Yeah,
But
isn't it true that you told me that the commissioner would only grant me a liquor license if I removed Jimmy Cooper from ownership of the business? On oath, on the stand. Boom, got him. Boom.
yeah.
But
Sandy
what I do
just
love
doesn't have that moral compass anymore.
What I do love about this, though, is that the solution here given to Sandy is if Jimmy leaves, you're all clear. You get his name off the business, and they will give you this license like that. And never at any point in this episode does Sandy Cohen, actually consider doing that. That, as far as he is concerned, is a non-starter. He's willing to go talk and deal with Caleb again.
The devil himself.
Rather than do that. And I think that's great. It's because they're a secret handshake, they're bonded for life, and they will never screw each other over. He won't do that. And I think it's cool. I like Sandy. I don't know if the people listening out there knew that, but I quite enjoy Sandy Cohen.
No, you've modeled your eyebrows after his.
His eyebrows are especially. Eyebrow Watch 2020. Sandy, they're super thick.
Mm-hmm. They are. Yep. So Ryan and Marissa are still, second face. And Caleb walks up to the door. Knock, knock, knock. Caleb wants to propose to Julie Cooper, and he wants Marissa's blessing.
Yeah, hey, before we go on with this, I have a question for you.
Yes.
They're back at the apartment.
Yes.
Where's Seth and Summer?
They're up there.
So they're upstairs.
Yes.
Working on making plans for the bedroom.
Or maybe they're going out and getting paint.
They're at the hardware store.
Yes.
Okay. That's the only... I'm trying to figure out the timeline here. Because
they're at Sherwin-Williams.
Okay. Good. Yeah, so anyway, proposal. Big deal.
Yeah.
My favorite line in this whole thing is, Marissa, your mother is a wonderful woman. And Marissa responds immediately, she is? Hey, question.
Yes.
When did Caleb and Julie start dating again?
They didn't really. They just realized that it would be a good opportunity to make a contract together. And you know what? They're both bad people, but they're good together.
Okay, cool. It is weird that they just kind of skipped out on that.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, he's just he doesn't really even give her a choice. He's asking for her blessing, but he said, well, I'm proposing to her tonight at the friends and family thing at the lighthouse, regardless of what you say, because I am Caleb Nickel and I do whatever the fuck I want to do. And so he's going to do that anyway. And then at the end of this whole thing, he says, thanks for your time, dear. And I was just like, ew. The way he said dear in that sentence was so strange to me. It's he didn't really want to say it, but he felt like he had to say it, and it was just really awkward, and it made me feel icky. Yeah. I didn't like it.
So let's just get over all of this. So if Julie Cooper marries Caleb Nickel, then that means Julie is Kirsten's stepmom.
Right.
Sandy's mother-in-law.
Yep.
Marissa's... Oh, no, yeah.
Ryan's...
Seth's grandma.
Grandmother-in-law. Yeah.
And that would make Marissa Ryan's aunt.
Wait. Well, no. Well, Ryan's not
in-law.
Well, he's not been adopted by the Coens, has he? See, he's not legally a member of the family, is he?
He is.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gross. Way to make out with your aunt, Ryan. Are they going to figure this out on the show? I hope they do an episode where they figure this out. I forget if
they do. I'm sure Seth does at some point.
But the important thing is what they say, Julie Cooper will be the most powerful woman in Newport after this wedding goes through, unless Coop tells Caleb about what happened with Luke. So...
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Back at Marissa's, Seth and Summer are planning their stealthily fix Marissa's room plan. And no one really knows where Marissa is. And the way that they got in, Summer stayed in whenever Marissa had left.
Yeah, but then Summer left and Marissa came back. And then Marissa has left again and Summer is now back? I don't understand this.
Summer knows how to pick a lock.
Summer and Seth
that doesn't
are back.
Surprise you, does
Marissa
it?
was just downstairs. Where?
Leave a window open, Scott.
It's weird.
I don't know why you think that there's no way that this could happen. If you want back in the house, all that you have to do, leave a window or door open that is not easily used by someone else so that they won't realize that it's open, and then you just go and you come back.
Look, all I'm saying is the timeline of this whole stuff is just really strange.
Whatever.
All right. While Summer and Seth are planning the room, Summer finds last year's yearbook and opens it up to see Seth as the sole member of the sailing team, the sole member of the comic book club and the sole member of the Film Preservation Society.
And at this point, I think it's really important to let everyone know the times and the episodes that you laugh the literal hardest. And this week, it was right here.
What's really
when she was flipping through the yearbook and it was just all these pictures of Seth by himself, Scott lost it.
It was really funny.
It was just hysterical.
It was really funny.
Yeah. And Summer has this realization of she might have actually been mean to Seth, and she asks if she was really mean to you.
Yeah, what was I? It was a really sweet moment where she's like, "Was I really mean to you?" And his response makes me so sad. No, that would have required you to speak to me. For anyone to speak to me. Poor Seth.
I know.
Poor old Seth.
I married a Seth and you married a Summer. And that's okay, because I love Seth in this show and you love Summer, right?
And then she says a lot's changed in a year, huh? And then she gives him a big old kiss. And I love her and I love them and I love their relationship when Seth isn't being a big goofball and a dork.
Yeah, I love our relationship when you're not being a big goofball and a dork. That's
You've
me
just
smiling.
made an enemy. You've just made a podcast enemy. Where nemesis is.
Okay. So friends and family night at the lighthouse, and Luke is sitting in his truck outside drinking the beers.
He's creepingly just sucking back some beers.
Yep.
This is a very sensible plan here, Luke. Way to go.
Yep.
Inside the party, Haley is just fucking the shit out of Jimmy with her eyes. And Kirsten is standing right next to her and picks up on it because she's not an idiot. It's really obvious. But we don't resolve this. Like this,
No, we've got too many other things that are going on.
There's too
right
much
now,
going
Scott.
on in this episode. We
Only
don't have
one
time to deal with
proposal
it.
allowed because it's the proposal, not the proposals.
That's a great joke, babe. The
It
point
wasn't
is,
a joke. It was a fact.
The point is that Kirsten confronting Jimmy and Haley over what's going on is going to have to be saved for a later episode because it does not happen in this episode. Although she clearly, if not knows 100%, has a pretty strong suspicion here.
Oh, yeah. And
also, update on the great Meatloaf off of 2004. Nana Cohen's Meatloaf beats Granny Cooper's. So that's that settled. It's over.
yeah. I mean, let's be real.
I mean, we met Granny. We met Nana.
We met Nana. And Nana seems like she's really got her cooking together.
I mean, she can sure loaf of meat. That's real true.
I like meatloaf. Okay, so Caleb announces his proposal with a giant emerald ring.
It's enormous, and it's so Julie Cooper. Just goes with her eyes and her hair. Ugh, great
I
look.
like emeralds.
Way better than...
I'd let you get me an emerald sometime.
Way better than that ugly-ass bucket hat is this emerald ring. So, of course, she says yes, and Luke just happens to be... He just couldn't stand in his car drinking beer anymore. He just needed to come in and do something... And just as he walks in the door, he sees Caleb get down on one knee, Julie say yes, and then he gets really sad and he runs away and drives off into the night in a huff. So Ryan wants to go after him right away because he's drunk and driving a car. And Marissa's kind of like, nah, fuck that guy. Let him go cool off on his own. Like maybe he needs to be alone and think about what he's done and think how bad he should feel. And I don't know. I'm kind of on Ryan's side here. The guy's driving off drunk. Should go get him.
Yeah.
Do not
I think
let him
Marissa
continue.
should understand this too, given her history.
Yeah. She eventually folds though, and they both go out together to look for Luke.
Yeah. Good job, Marissa. Way to make one good life choice in 24 episodes.
Back at Marissa's though, Seth and Summer are hard at work on Operation Surprise Home Makeover. And Seth Cohen manages to successfully nail a nail into the wall.
You caught how many were next to it that were bent and messed up, right?
Yes. And then, so he succeeds, and Summer says, Bob Vila is your bitch, Cohen. And this got me thinking, do you know who Bob Vila is?
Yeah.
This
guy
old house?
that does all those, yeah.
Okay. I wonder how many listeners out there know who Bob Vila is, because This Old House would be a show that I used to watch a lot when I was a little kid.
Well, he also wasn't he a like infomercial guy?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
Yeah. No, he did infomercials.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No, he did like home improvement infomercials all the time.
I mean, I know he had a bunch of shows. I didn't know he did infomercials.
Oh yeah, no, he did infomercials about. That's how I knew him.
You never watched This Old House with Bob Vila?
I don't know if I watched. I don't think so.
He would slowly redo a whole house. This was in the days before all the reality TV.
Before Chip and Jo.
Yeah, before Chip and Jo, there was Bob, Mr. Bob Vila.
Yeah.
So Seth is very bad at hammering, and the second after he hammered, like, I don't understand how you're like. I get they're going for a joke here that he's not very good with crafts, but like
they're beating a dead horse.
It's like last week with the joke. It's like they go so far for the joke that it stops being a believable character moment. Like, I just don't believe that you don't know how to hammer a nail into a wall. It's literally just put the nail against the wall, hit it with the hammer on top of the nail. It's not hard.
I mean, you might give too much force. You've seen how strong Seth's arms are.
No.
They are. Well.
And then they proceed to do some stud finder jokes. Maybe in 2004, a stud finder joke was like new and fresh.
Yeah.
But here in the great year of 2020,
they're old. Gosh, it's 2020.
Yeah. Doing it. Oh, can you find the stud finder? Oh, you've already found him, Summer. It's like, yikes.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, anytime I have a stud finder out, I do make that joke. So,
but
I mean, you kind of have to, though. You know, I'm gonna retract my complaint. I feel like you have to make a stud finder joke when you have a stud finder.
But it's a dad joke at this point. It's not.
Oh, found a stud. It's right in front of you.
Scott.
It's me.
No.
It's me.
No.
Hey, Summer's wearing a t-shirt that says wink, wink.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I like it.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
And she's holding up the tools and
yeah.
she's got a little shirt
she's
that
great.
says wink, wink.
Yeah.
She's
I'm
hot.
all about that graphic
she's
tee.
Hot.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, so
Should marry
Luke.
that girl.
You did. Luke is sitting in his truck. He's drinking and listening to Bob Seger.
Okay, now maybe I was not up on the youth of 2004, but did teenage kids listen to Bob Seger in 2004?
Not that I knew of.
I don't think he'd be listening to Seger.
But when you're so drunk, it doesn't matter, and you listen to whatever you want.
I guess that's true. I guess you're right. I would probably.
Thank you.
I definitely would have been listening to punk music. It definitely would not have been. And I'm not saying I don't have anything bad to say about Bob Seger. I just
think
don't
you
believe,
do.
I don't.
I think
just
you
don't
did.
believe a teenager would Bob Seger it.
Well, that music was inspirational to him, and he is going to go drive to see Julie Cooper because he's upset. And while Ryan and Marissa are out looking for him to come home, they stumble upon a car accident. And because, yes, it was a teenage show, and yes, the teenager is drinking, Luke has crashed into a telephone pole and is being taken away in an ambulance.
Yeah, kind of sad, right? Right?
Yeah, because we all love Luke.
I thought for a minute there he was going to be dead.
Did you?
I thought they were going to kill him. Yeah.
That'd be too sad.
We haven't have we had a death on the show at all? Has anyone died on this show yet?
No.
No. We got to have a death. We're coming. It's sweeps month, baby. Got to get some deaths up in here. But
can I tell you?
No, you can't tell me anything. Get out of here. Get out of here with your telling me
I
things.
can't tell you if people die, how many people might die.
No, absolutely not. Do you not understand the rules of the game?
One person lives.
One person? Newport is nuked, and Ryan is the only one that gets out alive.
Of course it'd be Ryan. Nobody likes Ryan.
Yeah, so Ryan and Marissa, like, we cut to the hospital and they're like we see all of our Fab Four are in the hospital, and eventually Summer and Seth leave because they have to help finish her room.
Yeah.
But Ryan decides to stay because he's sometimes a good person, and then Marissa decides to stay because of him, and they're waiting for Luke to get out of surgery and wake up, and he finally does wake up, and Marissa is then finally ready to talk to him. She's finally ready. It took Luke crashing into a telephone pole to get Marissa to pay attention to him.
And her almost never being able to talk again in order for her to realize it's okay.
But back at the Coens, Julie is there and already extensively planning her wedding. When Kirsten then informs her about what happened to Luke. And I love this. Like, sometimes I like to go to the IMDb and like look up the trivia on the goofs page. And there's some stuff on here that gets like super pedantic. Here was something I found this week. Kirsten tells Julie that Luke wrapped his car around a telephone pole, but in a previous shot, it just hit a sign head on. She should know this because it's like Ryan told the family as he was at the scene of the accident. And it's like, I mean, wrapping your car around a telephone pole is like an expression, right?
Yes.
Like, you don't literally mean every time you say that the car was literally wrapped around it. He hit a telephone pole. That's what he did. He ran his car into a telephone pole.
I'm sure part of the car was wrapped around
I'm
it.
sure it, like the front of the car was wrapped around it a little bit. It's just like the pedantic nature of IMDb people sometimes. He says, knowing that he called out the hockey and football thing earlier in the show. Don't worry about it. I do like Seth in this moment, though, because he's standing there getting a drink while Julie's like acting shocked about Luke and making up bullshit. Like, I guess he wasn't as over his dad as we all thought he was.
Yeah, not over a dad.
Yeah. And so Seth knows exactly why he got into the accident and just gives Julie this look like, yeah, I'm sure that was it. And it's just like a little bit. I mean, Seth is not the person that's actually going to like stand up and rebel. Mm-hmm. He's just not that guy. But this is the Seth Cohen version of rebellion where he actually like in between them, a quiet moment between them where he's calling her out on her bullshit. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. So Caleb, having been asked to help out with the lighthouse situation, he brings back the bad news. And he is strangely happy about all of the situation with the liquor license not being, worked. And so it's an opportunity to him.
They asked Caleb to help. They asked Caleb to go, and he has a lot of pull in town. So they asked him to use his considerable pull to help out, and he can't. He's unable to get the guy to change his mind. Even Caleb cannot get the guy to change his mind. But yeah, he's happy about that. He sees an opportunity, and we cut away from it before we get to find out what the opportunity is. And I'd spoil it, but then Elise would yell at me for some stupid reason.
And I don't yell at you.
Yeah.
I don't yell.
Sometimes you get teacher voice.
But it's not yelling. I don't yell.
Yes, you do.
It's just stern talking.
You yell.
It's not a raised level of my voice.
So Luke and Marissa finally have their moment. Elise, he apologizes and says he just wants one more thing before he leaves her life forever. Can you forgive me? And she says, yes. So do you think she'd extend that same forgiveness to Julie Cooper, her mother?
No. Yeah. No, because Luke is going to ask for forgiveness and then he's moving away and he's actually going to try and start over and change. And Julie Cooper is never going to ask for forgiveness. And even if she did, she'd stay in the same place and not ever try and change.
Yeah, it's like when you got a redemption arc. It's so much easier to forgive the person if they die at the end of the arc because you don't have to deal with them anymore. Luke is proverbially dying in this story. He's leaving the show. And therefore, he's dead. He's dead to us.
Are you sure he's leaving?
Yes, I'm sure he's leaving.
Okay. How do you know?
Because I guarantee it. I guarantee he's leaving. Because they don't know what to do with him now.
Okay.
So then Luke and Ryan get their goodbye as well. They get their own little goodbye. And they talk about how it's so funny that maybe he'll go up to Portland and be the Ryan of Portland. And then Luke says, oh, yeah, welcome to Portland, bitch. So Elise, before we move on, we have to say goodbye. We the two of us have to say goodbye to one of our favorite characters on this show, Luke.
Okay.
Farewell, Luke.
Goodbye.
You changed personality almost as many times as you changed.
As Julie's changed her hair.
Yeah. Good. Nice. Well done.
Yeah. You look surprised that I was able to come up with something.
I'm impressed. You were a dick. And then
you showed you really had one.
And that, yeah. Wait.
Showed Julie you really had one.
Oh, I get it. And then you were funny and weird and kind of dumb. And then you were serious again. I feel like we hardly got to know the real Luke. Now we never will, because he'll be up in Portland
singing one more song.
Yeah, he's gonna join like a.
He is.
He's gonna.
For him.
You know what's gonna happen to him? He's gonna get real fucking granola up there. He's gonna get so granola, and he's gonna join some kind of.
Don't you love
band,
it though?
Some kind of indie band.
I'm excited.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
we're gonna find him in like 5 years, and he's like growing his own pot, and like
Selling it to Seth.
He goes to a restaurant and he's like, "Is this local? Is this local? Is this local?"
So Marissa decides that she has to stop her mother. So she goes to Caleb's office to tell him about Luke. But at this point, we all figure out that Caleb already knows.
How does
he knows everything.
How does he know, Elise?
Because when you're going into a business deal with someone, you have to lay everything out on the table and negotiate for a fair deal.
You know
and
what
that's exactly what they did.
He fucking hacked her computer, and it's those damn AIM conversations.
No,
that's
not the aim.
That's it.
It's not the aim.
Yeah, but he obviously doesn't care. He does not care. And instead of Marissa helping out him, he's going to help out Marissa because he reveals his evil plan, which is that he's going to buy the lighthouse from Sandy and Jimmy for several $1 million. It's Jimmy's only hope
right now.
But he will only do it if Marissa agrees to move back into their house together with her mother after the marriage.
And it's blackmail. It is
exactly
what that is.
Yeah, exactly blackmail.
And everyone participating knows exactly what it is.
It is.
And they all agree.
And of course, they all agree to it. And so she agrees that she's gonna have to live with her mom and Caleb again.
Ugh.
And then of course the show decides to like take that knife and just twist it a little bit because then Marissa heads home to her apartment and she sees the incredible work that both Seth and Summer have done to her room. That we now know that she's not going to get to stay in that room though. So there's this beautiful moment where they did a really good job. The room looks beautiful.
I'm
impressed. Hear that
Summer
did everything. She did the drilling and the nailing and the carpentry and everything except for this beautiful mural on the back wall, which is like the Paris skyline
from the movie.
As drawn, yeah,
credit
it was
scene,
from the movie.
Yeah.
Also, as drawn as like what an American thinks Paris looks like, where like you can see the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe and like the same,
and the Moulin Rouge thing too.
Yeah. It's all within.
I mean, that's how it really is.
It's all within like half a block from each other.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Just gotta use them feet.
So it's almost a sad moment because Marissa starts crying and like only her and Ryan understand why she's crying.
Did she share with Ryan?
Yeah. Because when they got into the house, he's like, "Well, you're doing what you got to do." I think she told him. They don't keep secrets, remember?
Yeah, they're the model couple.
Anymore. Yeah,
that's true.
But the episode ends on kind of a happy note when our Fab Four all climb onto the bed.
The Fantastic Four, Scott.
They climb onto the bed together, and they're just sitting on the bed goofing off, and it's just like this really happy moment. I love those four characters. I love the dynamic between the four. And
it's true.
They're in this moment where they're all happy together, and I know we're gonna ruin that going forward because we got 3 episodes to go, baby. We got to ruin some shit. That's conflict. That's how it works.
That's what you think.
So that is the end of our episode. That is it.
That's all.
I have a feeling things are gonna get worse.
Okay.
From here
before they get better.
Yep.
All right. Just like all relationships do.
Speaking of which, let's move on to Elise's favorite part of the show because she gets to talk really fast and really loud.
And before I do that,
what?
I love how you've changed your voice now for it too.
I just do an announcer's voice. I always have and I always will. Elise, tell me about Miss Coop and Mr. Rye Guy.
All right, Scott, if that's what you want to hear about, I've got to say that Coop and Ryan last week, they were at a 5 out of 10, but now Coop and Ryan are back together. Scott, they're making out on piers, they're making out on couches and on beds, so everything is going great this week. They get a solid 7 out of 10.
That's a pretty good score, at least.
Exactly.
Considering their relationship has been an absolute disaster.
Right. And how are Seth and Summer doing, our lovely couple, Scott?
That would be the opposite of a disaster, at least. Last week we gave them an 8 out of 10 because Seth was a little bit of a dick. But this week, it's just smooth sailing. Both of them being adorable. Both of them being great. There's love. There's respect. Absolutely zero complaints about this couple at all. I love them. I'm giving them a 9 out of 10.
That sounds like a solid couple, Scott. Moving on to our other solid couple, we have Sandy and Kirsten Cohen last week. They were at the 9 out of 10 mark. The show is completely moved beyond Sandy and Kirsten drama, though I think that Kirsten is going to be going through something because of Haley and Jimmy, and Kirsten being her mom.
Julie being her mom, sorry.
And Julie being her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's That's a pretty solid choice.
But will that drama affect their relationship at all? I don't know.
I don't know. We're going to knock them down to 1 point to an 8 out of 10.
We're just in this weird unknown.
Just because we know they didn't really move forward, didn't quite stay the same, and now Kirsten's going through some trouble.
Yep. And trouble with one person is trouble with both.
All right, so how are Julie Cooper and Caleb Nickel doing, Scott?
Well, they got back together and suddenly are engaged now, so good?
They're doing good.
7 out of 10?
They're getting married.
Okay.
All right, Scott, we're going to finish this week out with Jimmy and Haley. Last week, Jimmy and Haley were at a 6 out of 10. While the secret love affair is quickly becoming less and less secret, Scott, it seems like these things are going well for now. So we're going to leave this one where it is, right out a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I think to be a real 8 or 9 in the relationship score, you got to be public. I don't think you can get much above 7 without keeping your relationship secret. You know what I mean? You got to be out in the open.
I don't know if I'd let you above a 6, actually.
Oh, a 6. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You're not
Tough
quite
crowd.
passing.
Tough crowd.
You pass into the public sphere at a 7.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go. Sphere 7.
Yep. All right. So
It
what do
is
you think is
decided.
going to happen next week, Scott?
Well, next week, the episode is called The Shower.
So you know what's going to happen.
I'm going to take a big leap of logic here and
Lots
say
of rain.
that
Lots and lots of rain.
well, it is April. So
yeah.
in the world of the show. I'm going to guess this is a wedding shower of some sort. Probably. Here's what I'm going to guess. What is the funniest fucking thing that could happen to do at this wedding? Kirsten is Julie's maid of honor.
Okay.
That is my prediction. Kirsten is Julie's maid of honor and therefore has to do the wedding shower, has to do the bachelorette party, has to be really closely involved in the wedding. That has to be true. That has to be true because it's so fucking funny.
Well, I hope that you get something like that to be true.
You know what I'm not sure on, though?
What?
What I'm not sure on is what happens with the lighthouse now. So Caleb has bought it, which means Jimmy and Sandy, while millionaires again, are just done. I mean, they're gonna manage it for him.
I don't know. That's something you're going to have to find out.
Yeah, like it seems like his brilliant plan to save them is to also crush their dream project they were working on for months and months and months. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
But that is all we have time for you this week on Whatcha Say. If you like this podcast, you can check it and all of our other shows out at our website, www.doofmedia.com. That's where you can find We Want More, the newest show in the Doof Network. This is a show that's doing a close analysis and read-through of Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality, the most popular Harry Potter fan fiction on the internet. It's like our other shows, like Kingslingers and like We've Got Ward. It's the same format, but a different book that I've never read.
That's also where you will find every monthly book club.
Book club.
Yes, and this month's book club, I'm happy to announce, is a book that I have read and suggested, and so now everyone realizes that they trust my opinion of Scott. They love Scott, so, you should trust my opinion too. Read Recursion by Blake Crouch.
There we go.
And join book club.
We'll meet at the
last week
Friday
in February.
of February.
That would be February 28th.
Wow, you did it.
Yep.
All right.
Also consider donating to Patreon over at patreon.com/doofmedia.
/ don't type a /, you will not get there.
Type the /
There's probably, we would have $10,000 on Patreon by now if you would just tell them the right URL, and it's all your fault.
No, I don't think that's right.
At least how much can they donate to us?
$100.
What do they get for $100?
My things.
Technically true.
Do they get anything else?
We do have $100 level that we have never expected anyone to ever actually.
What do you
donate
get
at.
if you get $100?
You get to do your own personalized shout out on a show of your choice.
Oh,
So you can write a message to a loved one or anyone that listens.
that's actually a really good idea, Scott. It's like a little billboard.
It is. It's like a billboard. Yeah.
Like, hey, what do you want to say?
Yeah.
You know what? You could even say something as simple as like, what's a quote you want me to read that you really like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can propose to your girlfriend
Oh my
on
gosh.
this show right here.
Oh my gosh. Let me propose to your girlfriend for
Holy
you.
shit. Elise, you write a speech and Elise will read it out loud. I mean, that to me is, I would pay $100 for that.
I would actually really love to do that for someone. If anybody's thinking about a fun, creative way to propose and you want it at the beginning of the show, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll do it wherever.
I'll do it.
We'll put some fancy music on in the background, like some Bob Seger.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited, but the likelihood of me getting to be able to do this, I'm sure, is so low.
All right. So yeah, donate to us on Patreon if you want to help us out each and every
and really make me happy.
Each and every donation goes right back towards this company and keeps ensuring we keep making these great shows. Also, if you're listening via Apple Podcasts, why don't you just hit that 5-star button and write, "We love Elise and kind of Scott."
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Come again.
So we'll see you next week. Farewell from the OC. You
from
bitches.
Portland.
Farewell from Portland and the OC. You bitch.